When we talk about statistics, it's important to define what we mean exactly. And Mr. Hubbard has made some definitions that I think are very appropriate and very effective. One definition he has of a statistic is, statistics are the only sound measure of any production or any job or any activity. The only sound measure. Why is it only the only sound measure? Because it's devoid of bias. It's devoid of a reason that only pertains to oneself. Or, do you see? It's sound because it's devoid of bias. Here's another definition he gives. Statistics, the independent continuing survey of production or lack of it. The independent survey. Again, no bias, no arbitrary. These are the numbers. But you say, yeah, but what if they're false? Well, that's an important datum, isn't it? You'd want to know and could easily find out that the numbers are falsified. Well, how? Would you have to conduct an investigation? Now, this is the beauty of statistics. Statistics are measured by comparing them one to another. A staff member is required to report weekly the statistic of every post for which he or she is responsible. To do this, the staff member has to keep a daily running record of such statistics. Therefore, it is possible to compare the statistic of one day to the statistic of the day before, to predict by computation the projected statistic for the week as compared to the already reported statistic of the past week, and to cause actions to occur which lead to the increase of the daily statistic and to the ultimate increase of the weekly statistic. The value of statistical management is in the comparison. This stat is up and this stat is down, yet if this stat is up, that stat should have been up. Let me give you an example. Number of phone calls is up. Number of people spoken to is up. Number of sales is down. Now, this immediately tells us something. We don't know what, but it does tell us we better look because there's a discrepancy. There's an anomaly. Something doesn't make sense. Now, you would expect that there's going to be a problem here, a false stat. You could be right. On the other hand, how about this scenario? The numbers of calls were up. The number of contacts to them was up. The number of sales was down. The first thing I'd be looking at is they're obviously reaching the people, but what are they telling them? Let's take the reverse. Supposing the number of calls was down, the number of people they spoke to was down, but the sales were up. What is that? Well, maybe that's a false stat. Well, maybe it is. On the other hand, maybe they changed something. And this is the other key factor in statistical management. It's always a change. It is change that changes things for better or for worse. That's the simplicity of the natural law. A statistic goes up because something changed. It goes down because something changed. Your job as the executive, your job as the employee who cares, is to find out what changed. And you can do that. Statistics are not only compiled so we have the numbers and they reflect the production of the company, and they reflect the production of each individual in the company, but they're also graphed. And in addition to being graphed, they're posted. And by posted, we mean that let's use some imagination. Right now, if you're not collecting the numbers and reviewing them personally each week, that has to be done. If you do not have everybody statusized, that has to be done. If it's not going into a graph using management by statistics software, this has to be done. But in addition, what do you do with the graphs? probably the most interesting invention from the movie industry is having a storyboard. When the movie industry is planning out various things, they'll put scenes up on the wall so that you can see exactly what's happening. We do the same thing with a graph. If your company has 15 key statistics, those 15 graphs should be up on the wall. Why? So you can step back. See, if you look at a graph one at a time, you're going to keep going back. Oh, that second one seems different than the eighth one. But if they're up on the wall, up on a board for everyone to see, then you can take a look and say, oh, yeah, okay. That's the game of management by statistics, which allows you to play the game of your business in a better way. First and foremost, in the requisites to play a game is the ability to control. One must be able to control something in order to participate in a game.